After 2 sleepy cruises on Holland America, I took a break from the cruise line, but I recently gave them another chance to try their newest ship, Rotterdam. I'm glad I did because it ended up being one of the nicest ship designs I've experienced, and I've cruised on more than 30 ships across 6 different lines. As the cruise industry seems to be in a race to build bigger, more crowded ships with fewer inclusions in the main fare, it was refreshing to be on Rotterdam, with less than 3,000 people, and a lot of perks like robes and room service still included. The ship is virtually crowd-free, and there are thoughtful premium touches everywhere you look, from the elevator, to the public bathrooms, to the art, to the beautiful cabins. Although there's a lively music program every night, it can still get sleepy after 10 p.m. So is Rotterdam worth considering for your next cruise? In this episode of The Chill Cruiser, I'll walk you through every aspect of the experience so you can decide for yourself. If you're thinking of cruising on Rotterdam or one of Holland America's newer Pinnacle-class ships, you're not going to want to miss this. Hey cruisers, Andrew from Toronto, Canada here. Welcome to The Chill Cruiser, where I explore cruising from a chill perspective. Today I'm going to review Holland America's newest ship, Rotterdam, after cruises in Europe and the Caribbean. Before I boarded Rotterdam for the first time, it had been a while since I sailed on a Holland America ship. On my last Holland cruise, the nightlife was almost non-existent, so I decided to try other lines. But after hearing some good things about their newest ships, I decided to give them another try. And I'm glad I did. I was impressed from the moment I walked on board. This ship feels very premium no matter where you are, from the elevators to the bathrooms to the cabins. It's also very chill-friendly with a very laid-back atmosphere, a premium sun deck, and a fantastic thermal suite. The ship also had a lot more energy than my last Holland cruise, with 3 lively music venues going almost every night, including my favorite, B.B. King's Blues Club, and there was a fun themed party. When I was on the ship in Norway, there was a DJ after the music program ended, but in the Caribbean, all the venues went dark after 11 or so. After being on several ships with more than 3,500 people, it was also refreshing to be on a smaller ship with just over 2,500. It felt less crowded in most venues, and everything just seemed a bit closer, with venues like the buffet on Deck 9 instead of Deck 16. I was so impressed with my experience on Rotterdam on a Norway cruise that I went back recently on a Caribbean cruise, so my review is based on a total of 16 days on board on 2 of its most common itineraries. Rotterdam is the 3rd and final ship in Holland's Pinnacle class and is a replica of sister ships New Statendam and Koningsdam. It home ports in Fort Lauderdale in the winter and spring for Caribbean itineraries, and Rotterdam, the Netherlands, in the summer and fall for European itineraries. Before I dive into the review, let's look at Rotterdam at a glance. She's only a few years old and entered service in 2021. She has 13 decks with room for 2,600 guests at double capacity. There are 4 fast food restaurants, including the large buffet, a cafe, a burger and hot dog place, and a deli and pizza place. There's 1 large main dining room and a separate dining room for Club Orange guests, which I'll explain later on. There are 4 specialty restaurants that focus on steak, seafood, Asian, and Italian. There are 2 pools, one in a solarium with a retractable roof and the other outdoors. There are 5 jacuzzis. There's a nice thermal suite available for an extra fee with a hydrotherapy pool, several steam rooms, and a sauna. There's also a free public sauna with a stunning view. There's a premium sun deck available to anyone for an extra fee, and there's a fair-sized casino. Since there's a lot to cover, I'll review my experience in terms of categories like food, cabins, and entertainment, but I'll start with access. Embarkation of both Rotterdam and Fort Lauderdale was seamless, and both times I was on the ship within a few minutes of arriving at the terminal. Once I was on the ship, it was very easy to get around. One of the many thoughtful touches on the ship is that despite being a smaller ship, there are 3 elevator and stair banks, and signage is excellent, with large illuminated maps with a directory at every bank. Aside from 1 port in Norway where there was a large lineup, getting on and off the ship was very easy throughout both cruises. Overall, I'd rate access 5 out of 5 stars. Let's move on to the vibe and layout of the ship, which I thought was very nice overall. No matter where you went, every space felt premium with luxurious touches like whimsical music-themed art and sculptures everywhere that often made me stop to take a closer look. All of the public bathrooms have cloth towels with Elemis hand soap. The elevators had leather-style wall panels with beautiful ambient lighting. As you walked around the ship, it always feels like you're in a luxurious hotel. While other cruise lines like Celebrity and Princess started from scratch when designing their newest ships, Holland bucked this trend and built on the success of their older ships. While some aspects are the same, like the main atrium that's more of a transit point than a social hub, they also made many venues bigger and better, with tweaks like adding a mezzanine level to most major venues, including the grand main dining room, both pools, and B.B. King's Blues Club. This makes the ship feel much more open and airy than its predecessors. I also liked how they doubled down on traditional venues like the observation lounge, library, and walk-around promenade by making them bigger and better. In terms of demographics, it was mostly adults in their 50s and 60s, with more families on the Norway cruise. Overall, I'll rate the vibe 5 stars out of 5. Let's move on to Rotterdam's cabins. On my 2 cruises, I was in an ocean view and a signature suite, and both were impressive, with a warm color palette and thoughtful modern touches throughout, like illuminated mirrors at the desk and in the bathroom, a shower pressure adjustment dial, LMS bath products, and wall hooks in the living area. There's above average closet space where you'll even find an umbrella in all cabin types, not just suites, which is again one of the many thoughtful touches and standard inclusions on the ship. The large screen TV offers a decent selection of TV channels and movies on demand, but not TV series on demand, which I appreciated when I did my first 2 cruises on Holland America. I discovered Downton Abbey on my last Holland cruise on Rotterdam and instantly became a huge fan. Unfortunately, binge watching is no longer an option, but Holland America is one of the few cruise lines that still offer complimentary 24-hour room service. And the menu options are good, with a delicious vegetarian omelet with goat cheese available in the morning, and options like roasted chicken and pulled pork subs for lunch and dinner. You can also order from the main dining room menu while it's open, which is a great option if you don't feel like leaving your cabin. Hit subscribe and watch out for full cabin tours of the Ocean View and Signature Suites coming soon. I really couldn't find anything to complain about in the cabins, so I'm going to rate them 5 stars out of 5. Speaking of room service, let's move on to food, which is also very good overall, but there are a few quirks. In terms of fast food, the buffet has a solid selection throughout the day and evening, including sushi, but it does have irregular hours. There are times throughout the day when it's completely closed, including at 8:30 p.m. in the evening, which seems early for dinner time. I like that Rotterdam offered a lot of fast food alternatives to the buffet, including a cafe with some delicious Dutch options in the lower decks. Around the main Lido pool, there's also a deli that serves tasty pizza options, as well as the dive-in, which serves hamburgers and hot dogs. You can pre-order from both stations using the Navigator app. In terms of formal dining, the included main dining room offers a decent menu selection, but I found the food and service quality was hit and miss. They also strictly enforced a dress code. I was wearing shorts and a collared shirt on the last night of my Norway cruise, and they turned me away. This is how I learned that the buffet closed early at dinner time, so the fast food kiosks or room service were the only options after 8:30. If you're in a Neptune or Pinnacle suite or have paid to be part of Club Orange, you can dine in a separate Club Orange dining room that serves the same menu as the main dining room with one extra option most evenings. I ended up trying 3 out of 4 of the specialty restaurants on Rotterdam, and the food quality and selection was all excellent, but the service was still hit and miss. Sometimes servers were very warm and friendly, providing recommendations and checking in frequently. Other times it felt rushed and transactional. This was disappointing considering the cover charges, which average around $50 per person. You can find menus and photos of every restaurant and dish I tried on my website, thechillcruiser.blog. Overall, I'll rate food 4 stars out of 5. Let's move on to drinks, which I thought were excellent. There's the usual selection of beers and spirits, but the wine list stood out as good value. First, they offer Santa Margherita Pinot Grigio as one of their house wines, which is usually considered a premium wine option on other cruise lines. Another house wine option is the Sauvignon Blanc from the popular Marlborough region of New Zealand. Again, other cruise lines usually offer a much cheaper option from other regions. There are more than 9 bars scattered throughout the ship, so a drink is never more than a few steps away, and most venues also have bar servers, so you don't even need to leave your seat. I appreciated that they have pop-up bars in the buffet at busy times to avoid lineups for easy-to-serve drinks like soda, beer, and wine when the main bars are busy. I'll rate drinks 5 stars out of 5. Let's move on to Rotterdam's amenities, which I thought were impressive for a medium-sized ship. Starting with the upper decks, there's a large observation lounge at the very front of the ship, which I appreciated since it's becoming an extinct feature on newer cruise ships. There are 2 pools similar to other Holland America ships. The main midship pool is indoors, but it has a fully retractable roof, so it's usable regardless of the weather or itinerary, and has cozy padded loungers. There's also a large outdoor pool at the back of the ship. One of the many touches I liked was that both pools have large steps, making them easy to get in and out. They also both have a mezzanine level with lots of loungers, and in the case of the midship pool, cool booths for families to hang out in. If you prefer a little more comfort and luxury while you're relaxing outside, there's a premium sud deck called the Retreat that's available for an extra fee. You get a little private cabana to hang out in for the day with food and drink service from dedicated attendants. Just outside your cabana is a private lounge area that's reserved for retreat guests. This also bucks the cruise trend of reserving premium sun deck space for suite guests. I really appreciated that was open to everyone for a fee. The one time I tried to get a cabana here, it was sold out, so if you're interested, be sure to reserve yours as soon as you board. Close to the main pool is the ship's large thermal suite that's also available for an extra fee. It has a large hydrotherapy pool, which is my favorite place on the ship to relax, and I love the overhead massage showers. There's a large steam room with a great view, another smaller steam room, a sauna, and a large relaxation area with heated loungers. There's also a unique feature called a horizontal shower, which offers a relaxing rain shower from alternating jets while you're lying down. Another small but thoughtful touch is that there are glasses holders outside the steam rooms, so you can avoid having them fog up. Some of the loungers also have private reading lights. Hit subscribe and watch out for a full tour of the thermal suite, coming soon. Close to the spa and thermal suite is a large gym with a separate spinning room. There are also men's and women's public saunas with a great view next to the change rooms. Although Rotterdam doesn't offer any water parks for kids, there is a large kids club on Deck 10 with games rooms for small children as well as teens. There's also a large multi-purpose sports court at the back of the ship with pickleball and basketball courts. Moving to the lower decks, which I thought were also impressive. Surrounding Deck 3 is a full wraparound promenade, which is another feature disappearing from newer ships. So you can get your steps in while walking around the ship and enjoying the beautiful views, including the wake. Another room with a view is their stunning library, which is yet another feature you don't see on newer ships. But on Holland America, they're a big deal. It's a large space that feels more like a fancy bookstore, with illuminated shelves that contain multiple copies of most books. There's a large and impressive theater that's used for enrichment talks, game shows like Deal or No Deal, as well as production shows, which I'll cover shortly. For a medium-sized ship, I thought the theater was impressively large, comfortable, and modern, with 2-story panoramic screens that wrap around almost the entire space. Another premium touch about Rotterdam that I really appreciated was when we were in port, there was a lounge area by the gangway with crew handing out cold towels and drinks. Overall, I'd rate amenities 5 stars out of 5. Before I continue, I just wanted to ask that if you're finding this video helpful, please consider giving it a like and subscribing. It helps me grow my channel and ensures you don't miss future content about cruising from a chill perspective. Let's talk about Rotterdam's entertainment, which was mostly good. Live music is definitely the ship's strength, with 3 live music venues going almost every night, including my favorite, BB King's Blues Club, which features a 6-piece band and 2 vocalists performing R&B and Motown music most nights. This is a very entertaining place to hang out, not only because of the talented band, but also because of a particular saxophone player who loved to come out into the crowd. There's also Rolling Stone Lounge with a true rock band, and Billboard Online, which features dueling piano entertainers performing a wide range of hits. Both cruises did feature 3 musical production shows, but I wasn't a huge fan of any of them. The shows were pretty stale and underwhelming, especially after experiencing the live music venues. One show featured pop songs, and another focused on classic Broadway music that I didn't recognize from the 50s and 60s. I walked out of both shows and would say this was probably the weakest area on the cruise. Overall, I'll rate entertainment 3 out of 5 stars. From an activities perspective, the activities team hosted the usual bingo, trivia, and crowd-pleasing game shows and destination talks. There are also daily craft workshops like making origami. One event that was refreshing to see compared to my last time on a Holland ship was the Orange Party that's now hosted once a cruise on every ship towards the end of the sailing. It was hosted at BB King's, where you could try special orange cocktails along with Dutch treats. Everyone's encouraged to wear orange, and a lot of people did. This brought some much needed fun and energy to the ship's nightlife that was lacking when I was last on a Holland ship. Overall, I'll rate activities 4 stars out of 5. Let's move on to Rotterdam's technology, which was good overall. Their Navigator app allows you to view restaurant menus and the daily program, book excursions and restaurants. I appreciated that the app sent helpful notifications about each port and changes to the daily program. You can also pre-order food at the Dive-In in NYC Deli, and the app tells you when it's ready for pickup. Internet speed was also consistently good. I'll rate technology 4 stars out of 5. Last but definitely not least, let's talk about Rotterdam's casino, which was an average size and features the usual table games and slot machines, including my favorites, Dragon Link and Firelink. The casino does allow smoking in its main room, which wasn't really an issue on my Norway cruise, but was very noticeable in the Caribbean when the casino was usually packed and very smoky. But there is a small non-smoking room alternative. When it's busy, you also notice that some of the machines are way too close together because it's tricky moving around when they're all being used. Hit subscribe and watch out for a full tour of the casino coming soon. I'll rate the casino 4 stars out of 5. As you might have noticed, I was very impressed with Rotterdam overall and really enjoyed my cruises on this ship. It's perfect for people who want a laid-back, smaller ship experience with some premium touches, but not a premium price. I would recommend Rotterdam to anyone except folks looking for a more vibrant energy on the ship and nightlife that keeps going after 11 p.m. If that describes you, then I would consider Princess, Celebrity, or Virgin voyages. You can find reviews of Princess and Virgin ships on my channel, and I'll be posting my first Celebrity ship review in the coming weeks. So what do you think? Did I miss anything? If you have any questions or feedback about the review, please be sure to share your thoughts below in the comments. If you're still on the fence about trying Holland America, don't miss my video about why they're worth a second look here. Thank you for watching, and happy cruising.